Well, hello. This is camps number 2. So if you tuned in yesterday at, what was it? I guess quarter after 11 again. I don't even know if it was streaming actually. Now, when I look at it, two things. The first one is Facebook changed up their interface for live videos again. Not a lot, but just enough. So that's always interesting. And then I have a new router, and I never even thought about it. But a lot of the software that I use connecting devices, of course, connects through a router. So when you get a different router, you have to reconfigure it all. Forgot to do that. So I don't know, about 10 minutes in, I thought, screw this. Let's live to fight another day, which isn't the topic of the show. But it's a faster internet connection, so it's noticeably faster. Ha! That's cool. How are y'all doing today? This is another episode of Breaking Borders and Shattering Paradigms. I really like that phrase. It's now a hashtag that I'm using. I posted a sort of little mini video yesterday. I can't remember exact phrase, but basically it was nothing changes without breaking rules. And that's, to me, that's so relevant, especially right now. And I'm not saying that we go out and, what was that movie? There's like 8 of them now. It was like 20, The Purge, I think. So it was like once a year, 24 hours a day, nothing's illegal. And they made, I don't know how many more movies, but I'm not saying that. To me, I was going to say, no, not suggesting. What I'm saying is that these old paradigms and borders that just don't serve us anymore over this last while have been just falling away. And that this brand new experience, this brand new neighborhood, this brand new territory to explore is outside of these archaic, extinct in so many ways, borders and paradigms. So it's not even so much that we're breaking the borders, it's that they are falling down. It's just up to us now to take that step outside of them, which is a big piece of really everything that we're doing now. So the show has 2 segments. The first one, I call it a 777. I think I call it a free mini tip. And the second one is, of course, Convergence Method. The 777 Club is a private Facebook group. It's a membership group in this case. It's $7.77 every week. So I do weekly teaching topics. There's, I don't know how many hours of resource videos. We sign you up if you're not already, if you already don't have an account, we give you an account on the Ask the Wizard Metaphysics Academy. Tons of resources there, discounts on different courses, live one-on-ones with me or in group as well. I'll post little daily videos and things like that. So the purpose of this is to give you a little bit of a sample of what that may be like. And I'll post a link to the information on that if you want to become a member of that. And then the next piece is what we call Convergence Method. You've heard this before. This is a really big piece of what's happening now, is the reemergence of the feminine energy flow. Again, it's labeled many things: feminine energy, sensual energy, earth energy, sexual energy, core energy. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Really doesn't matter what you call it. It's what is it, how can we understand it, what can we do with it, which is a big piece of what Convergence is all about. There's also a Facebook group for that. Now, that one's free, but it is private. So you will need to have me invite you to that. And that's really what the discussion is there. It's called The Conversation We All Want to Have. Many of you are part of that already. So if you want to check that out, very powerful group. And that's a big piece of what I'm focusing a lot more of my energy on right now, is that, because that's the wave that's coming. And I see it over and over and over again from so many different places. And that wave is building. I really encourage you to be part of that wave and experience this really brand new. It's really a reemergence of old, but for so many of us, it's brand new experience of what really living powerfully, passionately is all about. And then, of course, why these two really go so well together is the 777 Club is really sort of focused, built around our 5-step manifesting process. Many of you have taken the courses and stuff like that. Really brief. First, the step one is creating your perfect desire. Step two is living it on the inside, which is a big piece of where the feminine energy comes in. Third step is managing resistance and or obstacles. That's where a lot of the work is done. Fourth step is taking inspired action. And the fifth step is, we call it enjoying your victories, celebrating your victories. So without further ado, let's hop into the 777. So, and I really encourage you to watch through to the Convergence one, because they invariably marry together on each show. It's really kind of cool. So I mentioned about step two, which I call living your desire on the inside, which is the feeling piece of it. And then step three, which is managing the resistance and the obstacles. Now, it's kind of like, I was going to say, when you are doing step two efficiently, step three is going to find you. Okay, so when you're thinking it and you're feeling it. Now, when you feel it, it's that feeling. I'm not going to say anything more about that because we are going to talk about it in the second part of the show. When you're feeling it, that's what starts to introduce change. It's not so much when you're just thinking it. And especially now, I'm just hearing this now, especially now, just thinking it isn't enough. We need to feel it, deeply feel it, because the opportunities and the abilities that we all have to manifest in very powerful ways, and to live really passionately, fully, and completely requires us to embrace what we're going to talk about in the second part of the show, right? So when you're doing that, step three, which is managing the resistance and the obstacles, or another way to look at that is releasing those blockages that's been preventing you, or at least introducing hindrance to you experiencing your desire. See, that's the thing to remember, is the only reason, whatever this desire is you may have, the only reason you're not experiencing that right now, just like that, is because there's something blocking it. Right? That's really important to remember. It's not that the desire isn't there. There's something blocking it. It's like the proverbial garden hose that's kinked, but the water is turned on. There is water wanting to flow through the hose. That's not the issue. The issue is the kink in the hose, right? An old analogy, but an accurate one. So when you're doing step two, and as you're doing step two, it's going to start to do step three, which is releasing those obstacles. Now, so often, when those obstacles, and as those this is really valuable, as those obstacles or resistances, right, the kinks in the hose, as those are being released, we will feel labeled emotions, whatever they may be, right? I mean, sad, whatever they may be. We're going to feel those emotions, and there's nothing wrong with that. To me, what's so important is understanding the mechanics of what's happening. See, because here's what especially the normals do. And I mean, we do too. It's just that we're aware of it so we can catch it sooner. So here comes these emotions, whatever it is, right? Now, what the normals do, because they are so conditioned to live from the outside in, right? So their outside or their external environment determines or dictates how they're going to feel, right? An example, in order for me to feel happy, my external surroundings need to tell me I can feel happy, okay? So then what happens is, as your being, body, mind, spirit, is releasing these things, these emotions come to the surface. Now, here's what we tend to do, the normals especially, and us as well. The emotion comes to the surface, and because we've been so conditioned that the external surroundings determine the internal environment or state or emotions, it's so easy for us to take those and attach it to something in our external surroundings, because that's how we've been conditioned. And that's where, to me, this is really valuable. And the clarity that this brings to you and me is so powerful, is, especially as things are moving and those emotions are being released, is to resist that urge to go. I'll just give you an example. I'm feeling sad, right? So I'm feeling sad. And so then what we do is we take that and we attach it to something externally around us, because that's what we've been conditioned to do, right? And so often the external, whatever we choose, has nothing to do with it. Now, it may not be perfectly rosy or all this kind of stuff, but it's not the thing that's creating this emotion that you're feeling. And to me, that's what's so important to remember. And that's your tip for today, is when you feel those emotions, resist the urge to automatically go, okay, I'm feeling whatever this is. What's causing it? Who's causing it? Why is causing it? Looking for all these external things that caused it. Maybe there is, but I find so often it's not. Right? So remember that your being, body, mind, spirit, is always releasing those things it doesn't need anymore. And especially now, there's some deeper things that were being released. So as we're feeling those emotions, just rather than looking for the cause, or attaching it to something externally, just focus in on the sensations of the emotion. So rather than looking out here for the reason, the culprit, the whatever perpetrator, just go in here and focus on this. Because first of all, so often it's not them, right? And also it really helps expedite and ease the releasing, because the reason those are coming into your awareness are not so you can relive them, it's so you can release them. All right. Perfect. Okay, so let's move on to the... Hey, the reason I have these little transitions in here is, it probably won't be today, is I clip the two pieces out and I actually post the free 777 one in that group, and then the Convergence one in the Convergence group. So Convergence Method, or Convergence, a label, it's the re-emergence, as the transition said, of that feminine energy flow. Whether you call it, again, earth energy, sensual energy, creative energy, sexual energy, whatever you want to call it. It's that re-emergence of that feminine flow. And so for our topic here, we're just going to understand it in that the feminine energy flow it's a sensual energy. And by that, I mean you experience it sensually with your five senses. You don't think it, you feel it. Now, why is this so very important? So as I referred to in the first part of the show, step 2 in the manifesting process is, here's your desire, right? And you're visualizing it, you're thinking it, you're playing it over in your mind, and you're feeling it in your body. Now, what you're doing is you're using this picture, this movie that you're creating, right, to initiate the feeling. Now, here's a really cool thing about this. And I was watching a video. Oh, shoot. I've watched tons of his stuff, and now I can't remember it. When you join the Conversations group, the link will be in there. Or 777 Club, or both. Anyway, he was talking about the law of reversibility. I don't know if it's an actual law, but I like it. So what he was saying was, one of the examples was that magnetism creates electricity. But what's also true is electricity creates magnetism. And he gave a bunch of examples. And his point was, if it works this way, it also works this way. Now, when I was in grade 12, the second, it was bi-semesters in my school. The second semester, I had one class, and it was calculus. Never missed a class. So in calculus, they would often have a whole bunch of numbers and computations, an equal sign, a whole bunch of numbers and computations. And then the challenge would be to balance it. You see, so the formula could go this way, but it could also go this way. So it's that reversibility back and forth. So when we're visualizing, when we're thinking it, and then we're feeling it, what we're doing is we're using the visualization to create the feeling. But because it's reversible, we can also generate the feeling, which will create the pictures of the movies in your mind. And even more importantly, it's the feminine energy, the feeling energy, that actually constructs or gives form to your internal desire in your external experience, especially now. See, this is the thing. It's the feminine energy that, and it always has been, designed to do this, to give form to the pictures and movies in your mind, right? So we can use the pictures and movies in your mind to create the physical sensation. Feels good. But it also goes the other way. Now, what's really neat about the feminine energy, again, is you feel it. Right? So this, it was an old hashtag. I don't use it too much anymore, but it was hashtag I want to feel good. So why is feeling good so powerful? Well, first of all, it feels good, right? It's a little bit of duh, right? It feels good to feel good. And the second piece is you're creating those vibrations in your body. When you create those vibrations in your body, guess what's happening? Two things, or really two aspects of the same thing. You're going to, from those sensations, they're going to sort of birth these pictures or these movies in your mind attached to the good feeling. See, here's the thing. We spend a lot of time consciously visualizing and that type of thing. Nothing wrong with that. We don't spend near enough time, because we don't understand, that by feeling good, centrally feeling good, it will actually create the pictures or movies for us. And when we're doing that, we're introducing those raw materials, that creative energy, which is what gives form in our external world. So one of the bylines in Convergence is we say, we have personal journeys and group journeys and things like that. But one of the bylines is, during one of these journeys, you're completely into your body and totally out of your mind, which is really very true. Is you're so immersed in that, oh, this feels so amazing, this feels so good, that you're not really thinking. You are not thinking about anything. But here's the beautiful thing about it. You're still going to have those pictures, those movies, but they're byproducts, effects of that feeling good. That's why there's nothing more important than feeling good, for no other reason than to feel good. And then all these other things just sort of naturally happen. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is the second episode. I do my best. What's today? Thursday. Hey, I did it on the right day. I tell you, I do my best to do them every Thursday, but they're broadcast almost every Thursday morning. Of course, they're recorded. You're probably watching this as a recording. I clip the two segments out, post them in the 777 Club, and then post the other one in the Conversations. Conversations Facebook group. If you want any more information, I will post them in the description here, but you can also just DM me and we'll go from there. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I think we are good. See you on the web.